Hello guys, I'm the Laplace and today we're making a Java game in under 3 hours. First, I want to show you the basic idea of the game, so that will be my game plan. So first, I want to make a tower defense. We have some sort of thing in the middle that can shoot bullets, like this, and we have some enemies. I think we will do some slimy stuff that we can then shoot. The goal of the game is not really clear. I think we will do a health bar up here. We definitely need some sort of a shop. But that's the idea. We're doing a tower defense. You can't place the towers, but the enemies will increase in strength. And maybe you can upgrade these things somehow. So that will be the game plan. And yeah, let's just start. So first thing I did was obviously to create a project. I couldn't decide on the name, so I went with defense board. After that, I created a custom window which extended a JFrame, which will be the base of our game. I then created the engine, which is just for initialization as well as save some important game data throughout the game. I also used the Java toolkit to be able to make some images relative in size so that we don't have entities bigger than my screen. I was also thinking about how to connect everything in the main, but it eventually worked out, so I didn't really have a problem there. Then it didn't work. This was just because my stupid ass forgot how to set up a window properly. And voila, we have a white screen. After that, I started on our canvas. The canvas is basically just the space where we can draw images, rects, and all that other stuff. It's also the space that's getting repainted every frame. This isn't the optimal way of doing it, but I mean, I have 3 hours, no one will care. Then I worked on the game object. The game object is just like a pre-build for everything that will be rendered in the game. It has a draw function, and enemies as well as the player will have this function. You could also use it for menus, but that's not really the intention of it. You also later get a tick function. This is so the player can move. Nah, not the player, but the enemies. The player won't move in this game. And I also realized that I won't make it pretty far without a proper drawable class, so I added one by hand. This just has some draw function like draw text, draw rects with round edges and all that stuff. I also added the game loop. This is so we have consistent 60 FPS, but I later realized that setting it on 3 FPS would be way better, because then we can actually see what's happening and not just imagine what could be happening between 2 frames. I also added the spawn logic for the player, as well as adding a general object list. This is for later rendering everything in order. You could also use it for the menu, but it isn't really intended. So I didn't do that, I just used it for movable stuff. And then I encountered my first error. I solved it pretty quickly. It was just a problem of me forgetting that I have to actually connect my code in the main. Yeah, who could have thought about that? After around 10 minutes of useless debugging, I also found out that I forgot to load the window properly. After fixing that with the string util, I was ready to start working on the enemies. I decided to using slimes as the first and later turned out to be the last kind of enemy. They first didn't want to move properly, but with some improvement in the movement speed and changes on the distance, it worked, and they ran at least somewhat into the middle tower. With that working, I thought about what they should do, and I decided to let them die when touching the player, while also doing some damage. I built in a collision check and added a health bar. Slimes are now doing 10 damage if they reach the player. Right now they will always reach the player, but we changed that, and yeah, this kind of works. So that's for us the first working stage of the game. I know it's not perfect and it's not even a game, it's not interactive, but it's a beginning. And after that, I added the player rotation. The player could now turn to the closest enemy and later shoot it dead. So for the shooting, I added bullets with my friend Mr. GPT. I removed the background of the bullet and added it onto the player. You couldn't immediately see the bullets flying because I fucked up the rotation, therefore the bullets just spawned everywhere and not on the player, and also disappeared instantly because after moving a bit, added with the wrong angle, they just appeared in the nothingness. But after some trial and error, I got it right, and I have to say I'm really proud of me that I achieved that in under 90 minutes. After that, I headed to lunch and made a small pause. After coming back, I added a health bar to the mobs, as well as a health counter to the top of the player's health bar to see the effects of the bullets and the effect of the slimes hitting me. At this point, I had one big problem left. The game was just not interactive. It wasn't a game, it was a simulation. So first thing I did was adding some upgrades. This cost me a bit too much time, but with Mr. GPT not wanting to print the right images, it just had to take this long. I therefore waited to add the background and began working on mouse clicks to detect clicks in menus. The upgrade menu looked like this. All the buttons were clickable, with change in text and change of the levels. Only problem being that they don't have an effect yet, so I made them work. We have the strength upgrade, which leads to more damage dealt to enemies. We have the speed upgrade, which increases the rate of the bullets being shot. We had an upgrade, which never received any useful thing. Maybe later, maybe not. And then I saw that these upgrades were basically useless without having currency. So I added a screen to the upper left. With currency, we have now resources and a counter that tracks how many enemies you killed. I didn't really know how to track how well you played the run, so the measurement is now how many kills you got, obviously. So this has something to do with randomness, but also with how good you upgrade your tower. And then we had the first legit run of the game. I can show it to you, but it's still not very funny, it's just not exciting enough. So I thought of a way, but I was a bit uncreative, so I just stole the idea from the golden cookie, from the game Cookie Clickers. I think most of you know that. So you have a small little ball, like a golden ball. This appears on a random spot on your screen. You have to click it pretty fast. If you can't click it, it disappears. If you click it, it gives you some money and appears again on another point on your screen. You can click it until it's just way too hard to click it. You get more boost as long as you click it, and then it just disappears. It takes a bit to respawn, and you can do this the whole time. The better you are, the more coins you get, and that's basically a bit the skill part of the game right now. And with that, I basically came to an end. The 3 hours were over, and this is my final result. I think all in all, it worked pretty smooth. I made some stupid errors, but I found the solutions pretty fast. I think for 3 hours this is just fine. I think next time I will take some more time and use an engine or like an environment that's not Java, where I'm not that into it. And if you want some improvements on this game, you can write it in the comments. We can do a second part. And if not, I hope we see you in the future.